guys, I'm back again with another video, and today we're going to be making our own clutch purse. This is a highly anticipated video, so let's go ahead and get started. What you're going to need is the resin, of course, the clutch mold, and your pigments that you're going to be using, as well as containers to split those pigments up. We have some optional items that I've added into the containers that you'll see a little later, which are iridescent medium that just adds a little bit of shimmer, and then crystal glitter, which is going to add a little bit of sparkle. So my plan is to create an ombre pink purse, and so to do that I'll be using a magenta that's in a mica powder form. I'll be using a neon pink that's in an acrylic paint form, and then a portrait pink. It's like a really light pink that's in an acrylic paint form as well. So what you're going to do first is figure out how much resin you actually need. One trick that you can use is fill your mold with water and pour that water back into your measuring cup. However much it says that you need on that measuring line is how much you need in total. So since we're doing a 1-to-1 ratio, we're going to split that in half. So if it says you need 400 milliliters, you're going to be using 200 milliliters of part A and 200 milliliters of part B. And by the way, the resin I am using is Michael's brand Craftsmart, and it has about a 3 to 4 minute mixing time. So you'll see me quickly mixing because we did speed this up. But right now I have split up my resin into each container, and I've added the paints, the iridescent medium, and the crystal glitter. And then before you pour, just make sure that your molds are facing the direction that you want. There's a raise in the moat of the mold showing you that is where your clasp will close. So make sure that is in the direction that you need it. So you'll see me just mixing the mica powder cup. This is my darkest color, the magenta. And this came in a kit with multiple different powders. I don't usually use powders except for my gold, so this is definitely something different. Make sure you're getting out all the clumps or any pigment streaks. You want to make sure that your resin's going to pour clear. It looks like it was overflowing in that little cup, so I'm just switching it to one of my plastic cups so it makes it easier for me mixing. And also, just if you notice, I did leave some resin inside of my mixing cup, my measuring cup, just to make sure if I do need extra of any color, I'm able just to grab it from my mixing cup, add it to my separate colored cup, and use it as I need it. And I'm just making sure I've gotten all the clumps and pigment clumps out of that. This is the neon pink. This was an acrylic paint. You really don't need a lot of acrylic paint when you're mixing that into the resin. It's already really pigmented. It'll be really opaque, so it's not going to be sheer. Just like a little bit more than a pea size amount. Last color that I'm mixing, this is a really pigmented color too. This is Liquitex acrylic paint, and this is in the color Portrait Pink. It's It's a pale pink, really pretty, really opaque too. I have all three colors. Now I have all three colors ready to pour. So I start with my magenta color, that's my darkest color. I'm going to go ahead and pour that on the bottom, or what will be the bottom of my purse. Making sure not to over pour. That it is seeping right through the moat of the mold, that indent. And since I am using three colors, I'm not going to use too much resin for each section. I'm doing enough just to make sure that it is filling to the top, so there are no gaps inside of the mold. Go ahead and do the same thing on my other side of the clutch. And resin does not pour exactly how you want it to pour, so as much as you want to be intentional in what you're doing, it's really hard to do so because it has a mind of its own. So do the best you can. It's okay if they look a little different. That's what makes it special. Making sure that all the resin is seeping on the sides and filling up to the top, but there are no gaps. And if you notice, the magenta did seep onto the sides of the clutch already. It just pushed itself forward, something that you can't really help. That's okay. So I just heat gunned any bubbles that were there. I'm going to go ahead and pour my next color, which is a neon pink. And I'm pouring it slightly over the magenta so that it looks like it's layered, and there's not like a harsh line of division between the two colors. That ombre effect is going to be a fade, so I don't want it to look like a color block. And then my last color is my portrait pink. So I'm going to go ahead and put that right at the top, that empty space. I'm going to try to layer it a little bit over the neon pink just to make sure, again, it has that fade. It's not like a color block. There are no gaps or huge bubbles that arise. And then I'm going to grab my heat gun, blow out any bubbles, and I'm actually fading that division line that you can see where it separates the colors really harshly. I want to make sure that's blending. So this last piece is just, I guess it's extra. I don't waste resin. Nope, I'm not wasting any resin. It's too expensive. So what I did is actually pulled out one of my newer molds. This is actually a Tetris board and pieces set. I purchased this off of Amazon. So I basically just mixed in some bright pink acrylic paint, hot pink glitter and sequins, and I poured that onto the tray, mixed it with my clear resin that I had left and some gold flakes, and then I used any extra resin to fill the actual Tetris pieces mold, the actual like pieces, the smaller ones. I just used whatever resin I had left to fill those little pieces, as you see. They're really cute. It was definitely an unintentional pour. Like, I did not try to do anything on that, and I'll do better next time, but I just did not want to waste that resin. Okay, now this is the next day. We're gonna go ahead and adhere our sides. They've fully cured now, and they're ready to put together. So one thing I did do, not on video, is I made a glitter paste, I guess you can call it, out of resin. I added resin and glitter, a lot of glitter, and made these lines on the purse, just something interesting. And then I outlined them once they dried with acrylic paint markers, the gold acrylic paint markers, and so it came out really pretty. So basically what I did to adhere them together is I used UV resin and super glue. I used the super glue with the brush on the bottom where the hinges are of the purse, and I used the UV resin on the sides and top. And basically there's like that moat on the frame where you would slip each piece in. So I went ahead and did each side one by one, and you have to cure that UV resin for 2 to 4 minutes with your UV light. So I went around each portion of the purse and placed the UV light on it to allow it to cure. Once each side cured, I added the chain that came with the kit, and that's what you see there. So that's your purse. You just made a clutch purse. Like, now you can wear something that no one else has. So cute. But thank you so much for watching. Bye guys.